Right, hello there everyone, welcome back to another episode of what is the Redmond Roundup. Now obviously, different settings, I know we're making moves, people, this still isn't the permanent change, don't worry, I am making a permanent transfer, let's say soon, in terms of a studio and stuff like that. It's going to look a lot better, trust me when I tell you. But right now, hopefully this is alright. I've got Minimo, I've got Minamino, and we're going strong. Redmond's army. 14,000 however many subscribers, because I can't keep up. Yous are going too quick, and I just want to thank every single one of you. I also want to thank the 3 most recent subscribers who have subscribed to James Redmond TV, because believe me boys, it really does mean the world. I do want to just first off, before I get into any of the news and stuff like that, sorry for my absence. I'd done a live stream yesterday explaining it a little bit in more detail, so check that out if you haven't already. Also a bit of news on that as well. But I've been in London, I've been busy, I've been doing my own little thing, but I've also been planning ideas to make the channel better. So don't worry, I haven't been lazy, I haven't forgot about you. I've just been working. So now we are back to the daily uploads. The Redmond Roundup is coming your way every single day. Therefore, make sure you leave a like, make sure you subscribe. The West Ham preview, obviously we're playing West Ham on Saturday, will be out tomorrow. So make sure you're on the channel for that. But without further ado, ladies and gents, let's get into the news. So how can you not start off a Liverpool news roundup without talking about a couple of injuries? Because for Liverpool and the Premier League, to be fair, there's been a lot, but especially for fucking Liverpool. I don't know if I can handle many more injuries coming my way. Even we have the scare of the Mo Salah limping after the Midtjylland game. That's another scare as well, but Fabinho is probably the biggest one because he's Virgil van Dijk's replacement. Virgil van Dijk is bad enough, but if you're literally getting one of the best defensive midfielders in the world to replace him at centre-back, that's not too bad. But when he gets injured as well, then it's a concern. But the reports are saying he's had initial scans, but Liverpool are still analysing the situation before they make a decision in terms of coming out and giving us a date and stuff like that. But then there's other reports like the Mirror, etc., saying other reports suggest he could be back after the international break for Leicester. So my opinion and my conclusion on that information is he will be back soon. I do think he'll be about 3 or 4 weeks. That'll be the timeline if he was back for the Leicester game. And if he is back for the Leicester game, then I think we can hold on till then. I think we can just about do without him. But let's hope them reports are accurate, because then we kind of got away with it. Still not ideal, but we've kind of got away with it. So let me know in the comments down below what you think about these reports. And before we carry on with the news, have you got your cup of tea? And also I've got a Liverpool mug this time. Do you know the score, boys? Listen, we're making improvements. And we're adapting to the situation set in front of us. Next piece of news, Liverpool fans to return to Anfield. Now, this is obviously one that I'm excited about, something that you should all be excited about. Now, there's no breaking news here. Basically, the original plan for fans to get back into the stadium was set to be for around September, October. At least that's what Liverpool set or hoped to achieve. That's what other clubs have hoped to achieve. No one in England have been able to make that move yet, but I don't know if you've been watching the Champions League recently, but there's been fans allowed back in the stadium for that in different countries. Only a few, still socially distanced, but at least we're making moves, at least we're making steps, and we could be a lot closer than what we originally thought to getting back into the stadium. I still don't have a date. They've still got to find new methods and ways to make it safe for spectators and then fans to come back into the stadium. But at least the ball has started moving on the whole process, because I feel like we really needed that. And Liverpool fans are missing games of football. I can't wait to go back. I really can, because I know, not even just for Liverpool, but for every Premier League team, it's really going to be a day of us being united as not just fans of our club, but football fans in general. So let's hope this gets done quick. Next piece of news, now not really a transfer news or anything, but something to make you think about. Micah Richards, obviously former Aston Villa player, former Man City player, has suggested that free agent Daniel Sturridge will possibly be a good transfer for Manchester City. Now, the first time I looked at this article, I was a bit like, come on, you know what I mean? Like, Daniel Sturridge moving to Manchester City, like, you do realise this is not 2014, Mika. But then I thought about it. He's a free agent. They've got injuries in Gabriel Jesus and Aguero. Obviously, they're going to want to try and bring someone in to replace an Aguero, because he's coming towards the end of his career. In terms of the fact he keeps getting injuries, it seems to be a similar injury in terms of it's somewhere in his leg, isn't it? I can't remember the exact part of his leg, but I feel like it's a part of his leg and it keeps getting injured. Gabriel Jesus has his fair share, so you're going to want to replace them. But then even beyond that, you might just want another option, and what better yet, a former player who can score goals if he can stay fit. in Daniel Sturridge. But then again, do you just want to bring another striker who is injury prone and adds to that injury list? I thought that was just something to think about. But Man City fans and neutral fans and even Liverpool fans, etc., let me know what you think. Do you think that could be a move that Man City could pursue? And do you think it'd be a good transfer if it was to happen? Moving in further, we've got Harry Wilson. Obviously, he's on loan at Cardiff City right now. Shout out to Shay J Ojo, by the way, because he's actually smashing it for Cardiff City right now, mate. And Cardiff City have actually won a couple of games as well. But Harry Wilson has done his hip flexor in his most recent game. And he shouldn't be out for long term, but still not ideal for him because he was getting a few minutes under his belt at Cardiff. And this is obviously set him back a little bit. But like I said, reports are suggesting that it's not going to be too bad. Now we move into a little bit of transfer news. Nuno Mendes, a young left-back from Lisbon, has been linked with a Liverpool move. He's also been linked with other big moves across Europe, you know, like the typical Juventus, Bayern Munich. Liverpool have been brought into the conversation, but remember what I've just said. He's a young left-back. The reports are strong, but if there is any substance to this, we do, like I just said, we don't need another left-back. We've got Robertson, we've just bought Shimikas. If we go out and buy another young left-back, then what was the point in Shimikas, do you know what I mean? We've also got Milner to cover there if we were in deep trouble, and I'm sure we've got a couple of good left-backs in the youth system, and I believe Nuno Mendes, if we was to buy him, we'd be bringing him into, you know, at least have some involvement with the first team, which I don't know where I'd find the space for him. And then the last bit of transfer news is a Bergman Johansson, an Icelandic 17-year-old wonder kid, is the way this is titled. He's a midfielder from Norrköping, and he's got 3 goals and 7 assists this season. He's linked to Juventus, he's linked to Manchester United. They're the other clubs that are reported in this kid. And he's looking all right, they're good numbers, but you have got to bear in mind, he is in the Icelandic league or whatever, so we don't know. But if Jurgen Klopp sees him and says, do you know what, I like some of the attributes that this kid possesses, then why not go for him? And the fact that he's linked with other big clubs has always got to speak dividends. So let me know in the comments down below, do you want to pursue this 17-year-old wonder kid from Iceland in Bergman Johansson? Anyway, so enough of the news, and I've got a new segment of the Redmond Roundup that I do want to bring to you. I'm not sure if it will be here every episode, but some episodes, and it's going to be called The Debate of the Day. And this is basically to get our brains working and to get it, you know, just to have a bit of fun with a few of the things going on in and around Liverpool. Neutral fans are always free to join in as well. And this segment is going to be called Keep, Sell and Avoid. Now, like I said, we'll change the debate of the day, you know, every few episodes. But for this one specifically, I want to have a bit of fun with it. So keep, sell and avoid. So it's like, you know, who would you kiss, kill and who would you marry? Do you know what I mean? Like that type of a thing. But in this sense, it's for football. So keep obviously means out of the 3 players that I'm about to give you in a second, who would you keep? Sell, who would you sell out of the 3 players that I'm about to name you? And avoid is who would you keep, but you kind of just keep as like a rotational player, do you know what I mean? So these are the 3 players that I'm going to do it, and whoever watched my live stream last night will already, you know, have watched this, but I thought I'd do it for this video as well. The 3 players, keep, sell and avoid out of Minamino, Divock Origi or Xherdan Shaqiri. Now, I want to just give you a moment to write your answers in the comments down below because I'm genuinely interested to see what you've got to say. Obviously, these 3 players are like our backup front 3, essentially. Now, obviously, you can put Jota in that, but I think he's putting more of a first team shift in. So keep, avoid and sell, and I'm talking about these 3 because these get talked about a lot, and a lot of people, especially Liverpool fans, have different opinions. So if you're asking me, I will keep Minamino, I would avoid Origi, and I would sell Shaqiri. And my reasons for it, first off, I keep Minamino because he's the youngest of the bunch. You know, he's had the least amount of game time out of the 3, so he hasn't had enough time to prove himself as much. And I just feel like the ceiling is a little bit higher for him, and Klopp would have bought him for a reason, because he saw something in the kid, and he saw something in his attitude that he wants in his Liverpool squad in future. People say he's weak and stuff, but he's young and he's going to improve, he's going to build more, so just give him a bit of time, and I feel like we could really see Minamino fit into his role soon enough. I'd avoid Origi because I wouldn't want to sell Origi. Let me tell you why. Did you know he's our only striker at the club? Did you know that? Go and check that, by the way, because for me, you know, he's not a striker. People, Jota is not a striker, none of them. Even Salah is not a striker. He finishes like a striker, he gets the chances, the amount of chances that a striker would get, but he's not a striker. Origi is an actual striker, he's a goal poacher. That's why I would keep Origi, because I feel like he also turns up in the big games. You think of the Barcelona, you think of the Dortmund, the best ever games that the younger generation of Liverpool fans would have ever had at Anfield in their life. You can thank Origi, and you will look at Origi as a hero for years to come, and I certainly do. And you should think the same if you're around my age or younger, even slightly older. even if you're a 40-year-old man, you should love Divock Origi for what he's done for this club. And I'm not saying that's the reason why we should keep him. But like I said, unless we go out and buy another striker in January, which believe me, I think there's other positions to cover first, then I think we need to keep Origi. Therefore, I would sell Shaqiri because even though he's arguably the best player of the three in terms of quality, he's played for Bayern Munich, he's played for Inter Milan, I feel like we could still get a good chunk of money for Shaqiri, especially with the fact now he's playing a little bit more for the second team of Liverpool and he's getting a bit more minutes, so teams are watching him, and soon, hopefully, that might bump his value up a little bit. You know, he's just won the Premier League, he's just won the Champions League, yada-da-da-da. Edwards will be able to do his magic in selling Origi. It won't be that hard. He could sell sand to an Arab and could sell water to a drowning man. That's just how good Edwards is, and he is that good, but I would sell Shaqiri because I just don't think the ceiling is as high for him as it is for Origi and Minamino. But like I said, let me know in the comments down below what you think. Now, to round up the video, obviously, I answer your comments. I love to get you involved in these videos. Make sure, regardless whether you're a Liverpool fan or a neutral fan, that you get involved and you ask me whatever question your heart desires. Try not make it a typical question, like who do you think's going to win the league? Try and make it on a current subject or an interesting question, like this one right now from Alex with 2 X's. He says, would you take Danny Ings back at Liverpool? And I saw this question, and it's a very basic question, but it's outside the box. I want outside the box. Think outside the box, and I know you can do it because you're the Redmond Army and you're a boss like that. But I love this question because obviously Danny Ings, he's a former Liverpool player. We sold him to Southampton. In fact, Southampton fans, you can kind of say, we gave you one back there. Obviously, we've took your Van Dijk, we've took man like Sadio Mane. Thank you very much for him. But we've just gave you a nice little one back in Danny Ings. I think that's fair to say. In fact, I think I could even possibly throw out there, without Danny Ings, there's a very slim chance you would be in the Championship right now. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's fair to say. I thought at the time 20 million for Danny Ings is brilliant. Turns out 20 million for you was brilliant. That's 20 million that you really don't need when you take into consideration you've just got Danny Ings, one of the best strikers in England right now on current form. He's been smashing it from the second he got in. Now you ask me the question, would I take Danny Ings back at Liverpool? I was so let me just say how I felt when he first joined the club. I was so excited. He even got that goal against Everton. Then he got his injuries and he could never quite get back onto his feet. But let me tell you now, people, when he went, there was still a part of me that was upset because I feel like we had a beast in our possession that we didn't quite utilise due to the circumstances of him not being available to play. But now you realise that if you just waited at the bus stop for the extra 5 minutes, you would have been able to get on your fucking bus, mate. My point being, we would have a lethal number 9 right now at the club in Danny Ings, because if you put him around a Mane and you put him around a Salah, yes, they might take away some of the chances that he would get more of at Southampton, but he's playing in a system of 2. He'd be the one man, and if you put Fabinho behind him in our system, that works right now. He's sharing goals between him and Che Adams, but you know in Liverpool's system, Klopp will get him fit and firing. So I would take Danny Ings back at Liverpool even now. I don't think it will happen. I don't even think it should be a main priority for Liverpool, but just in a hypothetical universe where I could make the choice myself, it'd be for free, wouldn't ruin anything, he'd be more than happy to come back, then yes, I would take Danny Ings back, even if it meant risking him being an injury-prone player again, because he's just been that good. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. And then the last question from Jay Palmer. Do you think we should sign Upamecano after yesterday's performance? Obviously, the biggest story of Liverpool's season so far hasn't even been anything to do with the football itself. It's been the centre-back. Obviously, since Van Dijk came out, we've been linked with every centre-back under the sun. I said Upamecano would be a great option in terms of the player that he is. And even though he does have a few minor injury problems himself, we'll take anyone at this point, and he's probably one of the more brighter, more exciting players in not only the Bundesliga but in Europe. Now you mentioned about last night's performance. For those who don't know, Man United absolutely fantastically, and fair play to Manchester United, because you've got to give credit where credit is due. They slapped up Leipzig. Leipzig is one of the stronger teams in Europe right now. That was the group of death for Manchester United. They've overcome it flying colours. But I'm not going to blow too much smoke up your arse, United fans, because that's not what we do here on James Redmond TV. But do I think, you've asked me the question, Jay, do you think we should still sign Upamecano after yesterday's performance? I thought, because I actually did watch the game as well as the Juventus-Barca game, I thought he actually played really well. I thought he actually played really good for the first 60 minutes, but it was like the last half an hour where he dropped off. And if you look at the game, if you watch the game, you will know that's when Man United got, I think, 3 or 4 of their goals out of the 5 that they got overall. So Yes, he dropped his head, but that's because Leipzig took a more attacking approach. It's like Liverpool and Aston Villa. It's like when we went 2-0 down or whatever. Or no, it was 2-0 to them, then it went to 2-1, didn't it? But what I'm trying to say is we went all out attacking. We were more exposed at the back. Our high line went even higher, and I think that's what happened with Leipzig. So, yes, I would still take Upamecano. He is still one of the best centre-backs, young centre-backs in Europe. And anyone who's changed their mind just off one performance where they've conceded 5 to a Man United team who not only started players like Martial and other exciting, attacking players, but they even had options on the bench like a Marcus Rashford. And you've got to bear in mind, in terms of options, in terms of being able to change a game tactically, Man United are looking much stronger now to be able to do that than what they did previous. Look at the Newcastle game, they got a few goals late, but in quick succession in that game, and then they've done the same against Leipzig. So that's just a tactical round of applause really for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I don't think it's anything to do with Upamecano, the player himself. I think Ole's just one-upped the manager of Leipzig, who we know is also a very good young manager. But let me know all in the comments down below what you think, what I've talked about in this video. I really did like this isn't the first episode of the Redmond Roundup, but the sort of new edition, you know what I mean? I wanted to up the levels a little bit, like I said, bring a bit more of a better background that stands out, make it a bit more appealing. Obviously still getting news involved, but even bring in a few more segments. So let me know what you think of this video. Let me know if you've enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, please, because you know what? It means the world. It means the world, the fact that you've just clicked on the video and gave me time out of your fucking day anyway. But leave a like if you did enjoy it, because it only takes like 0.5 seconds. Believe me, if you try, you'll see that I'm right. You can even time yourself. Anyway, nice one for watching, news. Again, leave a like, subscribe, all that good malarkey. Last thing, I'm going to start asking for questions, you know, when I get to the end of the video and I ask for questions and stuff. I'm not going to say leave it in the comments no more. Still leave your questions in the comments for this one. But go and follow me Twitter, because I'm going to start asking the questions on that. So when I post questions for the Redmond Roundup, anything about your team or Liverpool, then I'm going to start doing that on Twitter. So make sure you're following there for that. But nice one for watching, news, and I'll see you later. Ta-da.